Hi, welcome to the Native Wildman channel. Your host Sean Catfish Wilson speaking today, and I would like to do a knife review. I made this knife with help from Bill. He's a blacksmith that lives down near Wichita. Made this during a craft meet that Yarnschmitter had they were hosting. It is made out of a railroad spike. It was forged in a charcoal forge, one that you put charcoal on top, and it has a hand crank. I'm sure you've seen them in the Forged in Fire stuff if you watch Forged in Fire. I did do all the edge profiling and stuff. I did myself with a file, sharpened it, sharpened her up myself. For being comfortable, it's comfortable in the hand. It has a little hole in it. I don't know what they call these holes on the back of the butt ends of the knife, but you grip it that way. Hold it up. Of course, I could chop at something pretty good. Paper. Will it cut through paper? Let's see if I can. Alrighty then. I added the jimping myself with the file too. Yeah, that cut pretty cleanly through it. Hold on, I am going to find you. Oh, I didn't put it right there. All right. This here is a seasoned piece of oak. Well, as you can see, it slices. It'll carve a seasoned piece of oak. And if anybody knows anything about oak, any type of woods, oak is a pretty hard wood. Inside here, it doesn't. I mean, it may look a little rough, but I smoothed it out. I rounded out the edges, so it's not bad as a hot spot. Actually, this would probably be a really good skinning knife. I don't trap or hunt, but the blade is Modified spay foot. I would say modified spay foot. It has somewhat, I gave it somewhat of a false edge. Edge retention for being a horseshoe, railroad spike. For being made out of a railroad spike, the edge retention is pretty good. I want to say it's kind of almost a very shallow hollow grind, if any, but I think it is kind of a hollow. It's more hollow than flat, but it's, well, it's kind of flat for hollow. But it has really good edge retention. It feels really nice in my hand. It is a little heavy, but not as heavy as you would think for just being a huge hunk of metal. It still has forge marks. It still has some file marks on it. And this is the length of the handle compared to a big glider, length of the blade compared to a big glider, so it's a relatively small knife. But as you've seen, it's effective with wood. Is affected on a crinkled piece of receipt I found on the ground somewhere, floating around. I didn't want to let the trash pick up, so I picked it up. So I guess would I recommend buying this? Well, it's not for sale. Do I recommend getting a knife out of a railroad spike? Yeah, if it's made right, absolutely. Absolutely. They're inexpensive normally, from what I've seen, the ones that you can buy online. They're pretty durable. They do have not the best edge retention that you can have in a knife, but they do have a pretty good edge retention. It can be customized however you want. You can get, like this thing, almost the whole thing all the way down to the edge is about this fat. And so I took off a lot of steel. May not be perfectly even, but for a first knife I built from scratch with little help, but I did swing a hammer a lot on it. Smashed it down. Oh, I did burn the tip. It was a little bit longer. I did burn the tip when I was forging it. But it was nothing I couldn't repair. Nothing on here was done with the Dremel or everything was human powered tools. Not electric, not battery. Just by hand. So I'm really I like this knife. And I think I did a pretty good job building this knife. It's been nice. I've cut fish with it, of course. If I clean this one off a little bit better than some of my other ones. Well, any one that's gonna rust I'll clean off real good. So and since it's a fixed blade, of course, it's ambidextrous. You can use it in both hands. The jimping on here is not. It's definitely different jimping that you would see in other knives. I don't think any of my knives that I have with me have jimping. Most of them are pretty evenly spaced. No, I don't have another knife out here that has jimping. But anyways, most of the times it's evenly spaced. But I didn't want to go for an evenly spaced. I wanted it to look different than any other jimping, so I just kind of randomly put the lines. So you see this one's not all the way through, but I mean, definitely your thumb, wherever you put it on the jimping, is not going to slide. So I'll definitely say I'm satisfied with it. Definitely 100% satisfaction on this knife. I mean, it was fun making it, and it's definitely fun using it, especially when I get fish blood on it. So let me know what you think about my handmade knife. A little wonky, but my first attempt, definitely good. Peace and long life, my friends.